Welcome everyone to the Lake Lewis Junior Show. Appreciate you joining us as always. And it's Friday Fan Day, where we bring in the best supporters for the Burgundy and Gold. If you are a Washington Commanders fan, this is your spot. This is the place to be, where we talk about everything under the Commander's sun. And there's a lot of stuff that we're going to talk about. OTA'S this week, as the team gets prepared for mini camp that'll be coming up shortly, where the big question will be, for veteran mini camp, will Terry McLaurin be there? Because as you know, right now, he wants more money. I think the team's going to get him more money. So we'll talk about all of that stuff. And then, of course, we have our hypothetical question of the day. And that hypothetical has been stumping people for weeks. I think I have another good one that ties into some topic matter. So I think we'll have a lot of fun with that as well. What we do before we get going, we welcome in our new guests, and we have two new guests that just happen to be not too far from me. I'm still here in Mexico right now. So we have Chris Henderson. What's going on, Chris?
What's going on, everyone?
All right. And then we have Jess Casey. What's going on, Jess?
What's up, y'all? Good to see you. Good to be here.
All right. All right. So we have fun here, man. This is a real fan-friendly place. We don't have too many rules as far as bad behavior, because no one does that. We're all adults here, so we have fun, but keep it clean for me, please. All right. So let's get right into it. Big topic matter that naturally keeps coming out of town now. And I try my best not to talk about it, because I don't think it's as big as some of the national media is making it. I'm getting ready to be national media, so I want to just rephrase that and say I think it's just a big overblown situation right now, and that's Terry McLaurin. So we go around the horn. I'll call you out. Give me your thoughts, 30 seconds or less. Do you feel like this is a big deal for Terry McLaurin to not be at OTA'S for the Washington Commanders? So we're going to start with Commander Kell. What's going on, Kell?
I'm happy to be here as usual, Lake. I'm happy to be with the Commanders family as well. In respect to Terry McLaurin, it being a big deal or not being a big deal, scale of 1 to 10, I give it about like a 2. It's certainly something noteworthy, but I don't know. I think he want to retire as a Commander. I think it'd be a foolish move to trade him. He gonna be here. It's his last time trying to get like his best contract given his age, so he gonna be here.
Yeah, I agree. All right, Willis out in Arizona. What's going on?
Hey, how are you?
All right.
Hey, welcome to the new guys. Good to have you. So Terry, I don't think this is an issue at all. I wouldn't even give it a 2. He's already got chemistry with Jaden. They know each other. Anything that they have isn't going to be lost by him not being in OTA'S. Even in mini camp, if it's required, I don't have any worry about any loss in play. And I don't worry about the delay, the quote unquote delay in getting the contract done, because right now I think Adam's trying to play chess right now. He's trying to figure out how much cash flow he has, how much cap room he has, just in case he wants to bring in Tunsil, he wants to bring in Simmons. However he wants to play his cards towards the season, and then at the very end he'll know exactly how much he has left over, so he can then make a really nice fair offer to McLaurin. And I don't care if it's a 2-year contract, 3-year, 4-year. I'd be good with whatever they come forward with, but I have no doubts they'll come forward with something that everybody's going to be happy with coming away from the table. So yeah, this is not an issue at all.
Okay, good stuff. Brad Savage, what's going on, man?
What's going on? Happy to be here, guys. For me, it's not an issue yet. I'll say yet, because I believe the last time he re-upped his deal, it was a different regime, but it went past minicamp. He missed minicamp as well. So as long as he's signed by training camp for me, then we're all good. And I got my 17 on, so sign that man. But I'm just waiting by the phone, waiting for the alert to say, extension signed. So as of now, I'm not worried about it, because I think it's gonna get done.
Good stuff. All right, let's do this. Let's get our two guests, who won't be guests after this week. They're already family, outside of this. But let's start with Chris. Chris, your wife is my better half, one of her best friends, and appreciate you guys, coming out all the way out here, and so what you on the show, as I promised you I would. So now This guy, I'm telling you, he knows all his Commanders stuff. He's a lifelong Commanders, Redskins fan. So have at it. What do you think in 30
Yeah.
seconds left?
Yeah, I'll just hop in everyone's backpack and say, I honestly, I think it's a nothing burger. Trying to work out guaranteed money. It's a livelihood thing for Terry. We know he's going to be here. It's a longevity thing too. There's other holes that are going to need to get filled leading up to the season. So again, it's Adam Peters playing the chess game. He's got to move money around. I don't see it as a big deal. And the fact that like this is one of the big stories going into the season, going into OTA'S. I think that's a good thing that we're talking about Terry's extension as opposed to anything else. It's like we essentially have to find topics to talk about as opposed to years in the past where it's like those would just fall out of the tree and hit you in the head. So I think it's a nothing burger. I'm more interested in like the Tunsil and the Lattimore type stuff, but Terry's in the pantheon of the Art Monk, Gary Clark type of realm for me. So it's a nothing for me.
Right. So he kind of lobbed up a little bit of what I'm getting ready to go into after we get everybody's answer on this, and I'll give you my hypothetical and let that marinate on you for a little bit. All right. So Jesse, what do you think, man? You got 30 seconds or less. Appreciate you joining. Now, Jesse's wife, I won't mention her name for the sake of safety reasons, but she and my better half go back over 30 years, went to college together. So, he came out as well. So yeah, man, appreciate you coming on as well. But what do you think? Do you think this is a big deal with Terry right now?
Nah, not a big deal. I think Terry's proven that he's one of those veterans that don't have to show up to OTAs, but he's also proven that he's not, he's one of those consummate professionals. Not in the news, not in controversy. I'm sure he's doing what he needs to do to stay in shape. So, like Chris said, I think he wants to be the best receiver ever out of Washington when it's all said and done. And so I don't think he's going to mess that up. So, not a big deal.
All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Miss Sheila, what's going on?
Hey,
Sheila.
All right.
hi. Yeah, I've been looking at the news all week. I don't think it matters. I think he's gonna come. I think he's gonna be here next week. But if he doesn't, we always know it's about money, but I don't think it's all about money with Terry. I think it's about he just wants to let them know I'm serious about this, and but I'm not going away. And then all these fake teams coming up talking about go get them. I saw a whole lot of that this week. Teams that he wouldn't want to go to. Okay, so I stopped. Huh?
Sorry, Pittsburgh. Right?
Yeah, that was Pittsburgh, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I started laughing. I was like, nah, y'all can't even get Aaron, what's his name?
Exactly.
What's his name?
Exactly.
Because as far as I'm concerned, it should be with his name. He should be go home by now. Okay, so anyway, there you go. So I'm just like, go sit down somewhere and stop putting out all that false crap. Okay, so that's my thought.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, Josh up in Minnesota.
Yeah, man.
Enemy territory up there. So what do you think, Josh?
Well, I think that Terry needs to get an agent like Kirk Cousins' agent because he would have made his money already. But I'm not worried at all. I'll take the 2 and raise it down to lower it down to a 1. I'm not worried at all. He's a Commander for life, and like you guys said, he's a consummate professional, and we see this every year with big contracts and big players, and this is just games with the agents. It's just games, and I don't think he might not sign until July. Who knows? But I'm not worried at all. I mean, he's our man. Not after last season. I mean, come on. After last season, no way he's going to go anywhere else. No way.
Of course not. Of course not. And as you guys know, I'll give you my take after everyone's had a chance. We still have 3 left to go through this. But as I do, I try to stop the answer to the question just to throw something else in there, while the people who are left who haven't answered will get their chance to answer. But I will give you all a chance to let the hypothetical question of the day, which I'm always trying to come up with something for your brain to hurt. So hypothetical question of the day. You can't give me your answer now, of course. This is just for you to think it through while everyone else answers this current question. But the hypothetical question of the day is, since as of right now, Terry is not here, we all know Terry's going to end up here. That's not what we're doing here. But for the sake of the show, we have fun with these hypotheticals. That's why they're called hypotheticals. The hypothetical today is, if Terry were not here this year, and you could go back in history, burgundy and gold history's past, and grab one receiver to replace him with for the Super Bowl run that we think they're going to go on this year, who would that be? All right. Very simple, fair question. All right. So we'll let that marinate on you, and we'll get back to our next three folks who can answer the question of what they think about Terry not being in right now. So we'll start with Mike Barrett. What's going on, Mike?
Hey, what's happening, man? You heard me. Now I'm thinking about the hypothetical. So I'll go with not a big deal. And as they say in the halls of Congress, I'll reserve the balance of my 20 seconds with somebody else.
I like that for showtime. I love that. Okay. All right. All right. So Ellison, you're up.
What's good, everybody? First and foremost, I don't think this is a big deal either. I agree with everybody else here. We got to remember this is June, man, and it's always something to talk about with the NFL. So this goes on with multiple teams throughout the league. I don't think it's a big deal for us. I think he'll be in when he gets in. I think it'll be before training camp. If it's next week, it's next week. It's not a big deal to me. Like I said last week, this stuff happens, man. This is business. With the OTA'S and people not showing up, like Terry and Tunsil and Marshawn Lattimore, I trust that they're professionals and they'll get themselves together, get themselves ready to go. So this is not a big deal. He'll be ready, and he'll sign his deal soon.
All right.
Sometime.
Good stuff. Good stuff. And then finally, we got Rev out there, Reverend Fry out in California. What's going on, Rev? Salute.
Hallelujah. Praise the Lord today, my brothers and sisters.
Okay.
Would just like to say I am so glad to see another day as I have turned 65. You know what that means.
Woo!
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
10% discount.
We embrace it at a certain point. You fight it for a minute, then you embrace it.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go back to what brother Chris said. Is definitely a nothing burger. Clickbait. It's almost like I saw it coming soon as Terry's name showed up along with the other two. It was like, Terry's image over all these years. So it was like this was that one thing that they could click in on and make it, some type of topic to drag over until we get to training camp. So like Congressman Barrett said, I yield my remaining time to the gentleman from Nevada.
So now I'll give you my take on this whole matter. You guys see where I've been over the last, 8-9 days. And I missed OTAs on Wednesday. I didn't miss OTAs on Wednesday. It's OTAs. It's voluntary for those players. If you saw a video that was posted while I was here from my last time out at OTAs over a week ago, you heard their players, Trent Scott and those guys. They're not worried about it. They know about Marshawn. They know about Laramie. They know about Terry, obviously, that those are professionals. Those are all guys that have Pro Bowls under their belts. And when you make it as a Pro Bowler, multiple-time Pro Bowler in the NFL, you know your craft and you're one of the best at it. And obviously that means you know how to take care of your body. That means you understand the business aspect of this game too. And in Terry's situation, Terry's been here in the bad years, all these bad years, all the many quarterbacks. I think if you add all of us up in these videos and count us, we still come up halfway short for the quarterbacks that have thrown the football to him over the years. So this is not a big deal. And I keep telling people, do not worry about this. Last year, we were told and heard from the team Sam Cosmi was going to be up for a contract extension. And everyone kept asking, when was it going to happen? When was it going to happen? And what did they do? Our very first day of training camp, they walked Sam Cosmi up to our meeting to tell us that he had signed this multi-year deal. It's business. It's not that Washington doesn't want to sign Terry right now, but they're still in the process of putting together a full team. I know some guys are there at OTAs. But when you hear Trey Hendrickson still hanging out there in the balance, do you think Washington, the last thing they want to do is, sign Terry and just say they're done with their offseason moves and Philadelphia Eagles sign Trey Hendrickson? They're watching each other. So teams are jockeying and figuring out different things to make their team even better. There's still some June cuts that are getting ready to happen now, with other teams' veterans. So again, this is a moot point. I think we should stop talking about it so much. Now, if Terry doesn't show up for mandatory veteran minicamp, then it'll be a story. And then it'll be something that I willingly and gladfully will talk to you about. But as of right now, it's not a big deal. So let's move forward to the fun part of what we do here on this show. If you're new to us, we have a hypothetical question that we throw at you, and each person, has a different opinion, different answer. Most of the time I'm right on them, because I come up with them. So excited to see the varying answers that I'm sure are going to come up for this question, like we just asked you a second ago. So since Terry isn't here, for the sake of having fun, and that's what we're doing here on a Friday, what do you think? Who would you bring from the past? Maybe there's somebody on the roster now you would just put in his spot, or which we highly doubt, but who would you bring from the past to fill that void for Terry not being here right now if you are trying to get to a Super Bowl this year? So we'll start with our two guests, because it's called a brain buster. It's to put you on the spot where you don't have a whole lot of time to figure it out. So I'm going to start with Jesse this time. Jesse, who from the burgundy and gold past would you put in that you could, bring back and put on this roster this year to make them a legit Super Bowl contender, which I think we all think they are, with Terry?
So I'm not gonna say my age, but
I'm with you.
I mean I'm gonna go with an obvious answer.
There's no answer this obvious.
Because that's who I grew up on. So I'm gonna go with Art Monk.
See, I knew that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Y'all hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I expected that.
Yeah.
I think being first, I was waiting. If I wasn't gonna be first, somebody else was gonna say that, and I had a second place. But since you gave me the opportunity to go first, I'm going with Art Monk.
Good choice. Good
And
choice.
other people can go with Art Monk too. I mean, I wouldn't expect anything less from some of you, and that's perfectly fine. Now, if you come on here and say that you're going, no, I can't do that because I was going to say a name and I know that guy.
Say that.
Man, why you dog me out on your show? But no, I'm just saying. So, I mean, there's 5 or 6 guys that you probably can choose from. But if you choosing somebody kind of outside of that realm, then we probably would have a little issue. But no, that's a great answer, and that's one that I should be expected. So, Chris, I'm gonna let you go up second on this one.
Okay, Devin Thomas. No, I'm just kidding.
What?
I'm kidding on that one. No, I'm
know
going to
him
go
well,
with it.
so don't
Like,
yeah.
If I close my eyes and I say to me, who is a carbon copy of Terry? Like, just maybe it's legend recency bias, but I'm going to close my eyes and I'd say that's Gary Clark. It's Gary. He and Gary Clark, body, speed, agility, go get attitude, toughness. It's the same guy, and that's exactly who I would say. If it's not Terry, it's Gary. That's my answer.
All right. See.
I like it.
I put these 2 guys on because I wasn't going to just have them come on here and look bad. And then you guys, the hard fans that know everything, and be like, why you put them guys on with us? So they know their stuff. That's a good answer.
Say that.
Yeah, great answers to start. All right, so let's go with Miss Sheila. What do you think?
We answered this question a couple of weeks ago, kind of, because I said Art Monk, just like you did. So, okay. I mean, it's like between the 3. You can say Ricky Sanders too. So there you go.
Okay, Art Monk, good answer. All right, Josh, you're up.
Well, I would have said 81 because that's that. That was my man. But since we got the speed with Debo, I'm putting Santana in there. Santana Moss is in the mix.
That's a good one.
That's a very good one.
You guys already took my answers, but Santana with that speed and that catching that deep ball.
Cowboy killer. I like that. Yeah, I don't think anyone will ever. I think all 4 answers that we've gotten so far are dead on, and again, they fall within my six 6 guys, maybe 7 that you can put on this list. And I'll let you know if you say someone that's not in that list. Like, come on, stop. Okay. All right. So let's go, Reverend. You're up. What you got? What you got?
See, you know it would be me, but I'm gonna go with Mr. 6-time All-Pro, 8 times selected to the Pro Bowl, Charlie Taylor himself, Mr. Hall of Fame,
All right.
Mr. Super Bowl experience.
Okay.
That's my guy, Charlie Taylor.
I like that. And he's on one of my 6. So again, this is why I have you guys on every Friday, because you know your craft. All right. So here we go. Ellison, you're up.
I'm trying to guess.
I'm gonna go Michael Westbrook. I'm just playing.
Muted on here, real quick.
I thought he was serious for a second.
We don't need the training camp hostility.
No. All jokes aside, man, I actually agree with the Rev. I love this team from its beginnings in Boston all the way up until now. So I'm gonna go with Charlie Taylor also.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Right.
All right.
Big E.
Mike Barrett, what you got?
He took my Gary Clark. So let me
No. You can go with if that's your guy, that's your guy.
Yeah, that's my guy. But I'll throw one out that I think he's legit, and that may not be on your 6. I'll call it, but I love me some Pierre Garçon, man.
And he was gonna say Pierre. I knew it.
Pierre was a beast.
So before we get to the final 3 on this, I want to save the mic. I actually put Deshaun at 6 and had Pierre at 7. And the only reason I was torn on that, because Pierre here a little bit longer, but the reason why I had them so low is because neither one of them are really considered, Redskins or Commanders.
Yeah.
Deshaun's a guy, that's a personal friend of mine. But even Deshaun, when I was in Philly, the NFC Championship game, he invited me up there to Philly, not because he was cheering for Washington. He was cheering for Philadelphia. So that's what I'm saying. He's an Eagle.
Sure.
We all know Pierre started in Indianapolis. So has had a record-breaking season for Washington. So I have no problem with that. They kind of, remember I said 6 guys, maybe a 7. That maybe 7 for me was Pierre. So I'm gonna let that one go. So that's good.
Yeah. If he doesn't qualify, Gary Clark's my guy.
Okay.
I think Pierre's on there, man. That dude was tough, man. He took some hits.
Oh yeah.
Man, he takes some hits.
He absolutely was. All right. So Brad Savage, you're up.
So I wish I could have a new name, but I gotta go with my personal favorite Washington receiver that I grew up watching was 8 to the 9. It was Terry.
No doubt.
That is my favorite receiver. And from what I hear, his temperament off the field was very similar to Terry as well.
Yeah.
He was not a complainer. He just put his hard hat on and went to work every game. And so that's my guy. I love Santana Moss.
All right, so I knew some of y'all were going to say Santana. So no, Santana's not about to log in because they're recording. But he is asking me to help promote. He's got a big bowling event coming up in the end of the month. So make sure you check that out. I'm actually going to put a link up in the video once it goes up. You'll see the information about the bowling event. But that's my guy. Yeah, he clearly is on that in that top 6. So good stuff there. All right. So Willis, what do you say?
Okay, so everybody's hit all the ones that popped in my head. The very first person that popped in my head was Santana Moss. So I was like, Mr. Dynamic, But then I started thinking about it, and I was like, no, Gary Clark really, in his prime, he was pretty sharp. But then I thought about the root question, I was going to say, I thought about the root question of if Terry is the one that's being taken out. And so ultimately, I thought about it, and I have to agree. I think Art Monk was the one that was closest to Terry because he was more of a contested catcher like Terry. And to go what Bradford was talking about, their personalities so much alike, they're totally chill on and off the field. Monk was a professional on the field, and he was just so magnanimous and giving off the field of himself. And they both super well spoken, super great representatives of the team. Not that anybody else wasn't, but ultimately that's why I was like 81. You know, I mean that's if it wasn't Darryl Green, he's my number 2 hero of the team, like of all time. So yeah, I got to go with 81 there.
Okay. All right. And then finally, we got Commander Kell. What's going on, and what do you think?
Art Monk got the same birthday as me. I was thinking about Gary Clark, but as the previous gentleman was, the point he was bringing out, we're replacing Terry, and Gary Clark, respectfully, is 5'9". I know Terry is like only like 3 inches taller, but you know, I like Art Monk. Terry played like 97 games. Art Monk played 205, got about twice as many yards thus far. So I'm gonna ride with Art Monk.
Good stuff, man. This is good. This is good. And you know, since I'm still on my trip, you know, I'm still in chill mode. So, you know, I figured today we would have more fun, and now we would have a second hypothetical if you guys are okay with that. And then, because and the reason why I'm doing this is because I want people to know there literally is nothing to talk about. I'm not gonna do that. No, that's not me. I'm not doing that. I'm there. And there's nothing to talk about. No one's worried, folks. So if we're not worried, people who are there in the building, why would you be worried? So I just said, you know what? We'll talk about it a little bit, let everyone on here show you that they're not worried, and then we would have our hypotheticals. All right. So this next hypothetical, this is a real brain buster. This was kind of what I just gave you with Terry and replacing, because we know that's not gonna happen. So it was just, you know, a little warm up. This exercise is going to really test you right here, okay? This question is, I want you to think of which player from Burgundy and Gold Pass might be the most underrated player you remember seeing. That was really good and didn't have to be for 10 years. He could have just been for 2 years. Could have been a lot of ifs, ands, buts about it. We all know that the number one person we could go with could be Sean Taylor, you know, but because of his untimely death and career being cut short, some peace to him. But he wasn't underrated. So can't really throw him out there. He was everything what we thought he was. It was a monster out there on the field. But we're talking about a guy that may not have gotten the Pro Bowl accolades, that was really good. And it could be for 1 year, 2 years, or 5 or 6 years. So, you know, I tried to talk to you just now for almost a minute so you could think about it. So now, whoever gets called first, I feel bad for you because you got to come up with someone. Willis has his hand up, so let's Willis. All right.
Oh, come on, man. Like the one-man utility knife, Lorenzo Alexander.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Like,
That's
just
a
he
good
did
one.
everything. How can you like not look at him?
That's a good one right there. And Lorenzo, that's a good friend of mine. You know, his daughter, my daughter, we've done a lot of stuff together, and he's come on the show recently, as you guys know.
Yeah.
He went to Buffalo and had like almost defensive player of the year type of year.
He got recognized there, but just not here.
Just he, you know, while he was here, they played him at like 6, 7 different positions over his time here. And you know, Bruce Allen and company and these guys, they just would never give him a starter's chance, literally. And Buffalo did, and you saw how everything changed. So that's a great answer, Willis. And by the way, Lorenzo lives in Arizona. So yeah, that didn't know if you knew that, but yeah, he lives out there. So not bad. Not bad.
I could meet him for Mexican food anytime.
All right. So we're going I'm gonna reverse this down at the bottom here on here again. All right. So is Jesse, are you still there with us? Because he looks a little blacked out on our screen there.
I'm still here.
Okay, there we go. There we go.
Why you gotta go with me next, though?
Because yes, man, this is what we do, man. It's rapid fire.
So I don't know. You're testing me, but he wasn't. I'm gonna say the one name just came to my mind because when he came, I think we went on to win the Super Bowl with Doug Williams. And y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but he came from the Bears. Wilbur Marshall, linebacker.
Yeah.
He made a difference. I know he wasn't known as a Redskin the whole time, but he made a difference when we picked him up.
I mean, that's a fair choice, but I wouldn't say Wilbur was ever underrated because he was a Pro Bowler.
Wait. Okay.
For the sake of having a very studious answer, seriously, I think we all accept that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that's a bad answer at all. You know.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
No.
So that's not bad. We're gonna keep Wilbur. We'll keep Wilbur in the book. So that's good. All right. Okay. All right. So Miss Sheila, you're up.
I'm gonna go with Monty Coleman.
Wow.
Wow.
Good one, Sheila.
That's a
Good
great
one.
one. She was pulling from deep.
You said, "Oh, let's go back," and I mean, I used to see him. He'd be all over the field, but he never got the recognition.
That's a great answer right
That's
there.
excellent.
Yeah. I didn't even think of Monty Coleman, but you're right. Monty Coleman was like a glue guy for sure.
Yeah.
Well, and didn't really get any Pro Bowl accolades, but yet
Nope.
was one of the best guys on their defense year after year. And he played a long time too.
Sure
So,
did. Yeah.
great answer. Great answer. All right. So let's go with Chris. What you got?
This is like the first name that popped into my head, and I think I was hearing B Mitch talk about it on the radio and talking about this guy and his work ethic, and for me, it's going to be Mike Sellers. Like just starting, he was a wedge blocker on kick return. He was in there at fullback. He toted the rock when injuries happened in the backfield. Like just a hard nose. When you were getting hit, you knew you were getting hit by Mike Sellers. Just consummate pro. To me, super undervalued. I know with us, it's like, yeah, Mike Sellers, that's our guy. But I think in terms of like national exposure, being rated properly, I don't think he got nearly the love that he should have gotten.
Okay, man. See, we can do this. They part of the crew now, y'all. You see,
Yeah.
they're deserving to be back. All right. So Josh, what's up?
Man, I was gonna go back as far as Sheila, but I think he was a Pro Bowler. So I'm gonna go with my second answer with Chris Thompson.
Nice. CT, that was my guy right there.
When that kid hit the open field, man, he was so fast. I never understood why he didn't get the ball more.
Because he would get hurt. He just needed 15.
Yeah, that's true.
10 to 15 touches. That was it. That's all he needed. Too much, he couldn't last. But I totally agree with you.
Yeah, I was going back to Monty Coleman's team though first, but I think May was a Pro Bowler though, right?
Yeah. That's a great answer right there.
He was good.
This is really good. Wait till you guys hear my answer. You're gonna be like, I forgot about him, but
Probably didn't. I'm thinking.
It's gonna be a name you don't hear often, but when you think of what he did for the short time he was here, you're gonna be like, man, he actually was pretty good. So, all right, but anyway, we'll get yours first. So let's go with Rev right now. What you got, Rev?
Wow, I got a couple, but he's still with us. I want to say B Mitch. There's a still get that man his flowers. That's all I can say. Get that brother his flowers. I love everything about him, even to today. You guys know my temperament as far as with football, and B Mitch is that one. B Mitch is that one.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's a great answer too. All right, Ellison, you're up.
Well, just like everybody else, I have multiple people you could pick, but for the sake of the question, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna date myself here, to show you how old I am. But I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna say Todd Bowles, who's a coach now in Tampa.
Nice.
Tampa.
Todd was a hell of a safety in DC for a long time, man. Got a couple of rings too, so I'm gonna go with Todd Bowles.
That's a
Good
good
one.
That's a good
one.
This is good, man. All right, Mike Barrett, you're up.
Brother, you stumped me. I'm trying
Finally.
I tapped out. I mean, the Coleman stuff is, this is not a good answer, but the first thing that came, because I think he got flowers from Redskin Nation, back then Redskin, but not nationally. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's there nationally, but I was going to say Ryan Kerrigan didn't get, the respect he deserved on a national level. But He went to multiple Pro Bowls and so on and so forth. So no, you stopped me, man. There've been a lot of better answers than I just gave you. So you got me on Rev's birthday, man.
Rev, that's the biggest birthday gift you can get right there.
The Oracle himself.
Yeah, man. I told you I was gonna get you soon, Mike. I told you.
Does that mean he gets voted off the island or something?
Good stuff, man. All right, so let's go with Brad then. Brad Savage.
So I wanted to say Chris Thompson, but that was a good pull. But for me, I would have to say he was good for a short time, not a long time, but I gotta go Jordan Reed, the tight end.
He was on my list too.
Because when he was healthy, he was a bad man.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Jordan Reed was top tight end. He was healthy. He was a top tight end. Jordan Reed was a unicorn. Like he was a guy because of his basketball background in Florida as well.
Yeah.
You out. His footwork was impeccable. His hands, he made weren't supposed to be made. And it's just unfortunately with the head injuries, it ultimately caught up to him. One of my favorite players of all time was Jordan Reed. That was my dude too. He always used to think he was the best basketball player in the locker room, and he really was. He was.
Yeah, I was gonna say he
it though a little too much for my likings. So yeah, dude.
I don't think he got a Pro Bowl or anything like that either. I don't think.
No, I think he was an ultimate 1 year. But he was injured and couldn't even play in the game. Right. So that was always the issue. So yeah, great answer, Brad. That was a good one. I like that. All right, so Willis, you're up.
Oh, I already gave you my Lorenzo Alexander.
Yeah. He opened up.
With you and Kel. Yeah. Okay. All right. So Kel, did I get your answer?
No.
Okay, yeah. So yeah. So you're up.
Hey man, I really like Jordan Reed. That was a good answer. Like him being a tight end and those concussions really cut him short. But every time he put his body on the line, you had to love that. I was thinking about Cam Curl, but I wanted to dive deep, listen to all of y'all. So listen, Gibbs won 3 Super Bowls, 3 different quarterbacks, but only had 1 center. Jeff Bostic. Never heard of him.
Oh,
Jeff Bostic was
big Pro Bowl.
I didn't have one though.
He may have got the accolades back then, but I'm a millennial. You know what I'm saying? I didn't do my research to know him that well. I wasn't aware of his game. Jeff Bostic, you got to give love to the people on the O-line and D-line. They don't get much praise, so I go with Jeff Bostic.
Dave Butts.
Listen,
Jacoby.
I'm not refuting any
team.
Yeah, I'm not refuting any answer that was said. These are, again, this is why we have our Friday Fan Day, folks. And if you too would like to join us, all you have to do is email me at thelakelewisjrshow@gmail.com. Once again, it's thelakelewisjrshow@gmail.com, and someone will get back to you. These folks are testaments that I will get back to you if you answer that email. And once you get the link, you're more than welcome to come in at any Friday at any time. All right. So my answer for this was, all the people you said, I'm not going to lie, I thought about, and there's probably like 20 other ones, but there was a guy that was doing work here for like 2-3 years to the point where you started to ask the question, could he be like a featured player in a featured role? And I'm going to go with a wide receiver that a lot of people never talk about. I'm going to go with Albert Connell.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Y'all remember Albert Connell?
Oh, yeah.
He had 1,000-yard season next to Westbrook, and people were like, could they be the new tandem? Could they be what the Cowboys at the time had, Irvin and Harper, and the running back was Steven Davis. You guys remember that offense was scoring points in bunches on people, but they just never were really a really good football team. And for whatever reason, Albert Connell had those first 2 years that were like off the charts for him. And then it just fizzled out. So for me,
that was Snyder's first year, right?
Yes, absolutely. So
I was, yeah,
that's why.
The beginning never came.
Yeah, so it's just
Everything
It's other guys too that you could think about, like, that were here that you think about, were they really good? Were they guys that, were they good on a national level or were they just good in DC? Because as we know, this team used to prop up a lot of their players to be world beaters and better than what they were outside of the market. And then when I would travel to cover other games and be around colleagues for other teams, they didn't even know who the players were. We had
point.
that were legit. Someone mentioned Kerrigan. Ryan did have the respect around the league, as a really good one. But I think with him, he was a product of some teams that they weren't that good, So sometimes when you're with a good team, you get seen more. Another guy that had some good years here in Washington, but on a national scale really didn't have the accolades that they were pushing in Washington was a guy like Brian Arakpo. I'm sure you guys was a good football player, but they pushed him out to be like, this is a 10-time Pro Bowler or something like that. And that hurts players. That hurts their careers when they do that, because guess what this team used to do? They used to value those players and not give them contracts. So you would see them leave. So these were some good answers today, man.
Hey, Lay, can I give you one real quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. And people may disagree with me about this, but for the short time span he was here, and I'm dating myself again, but he played with the Rams for such a long time. But Henry Ellett, when he got here for about 2 or 3 years, was really, really good and didn't get recognized for. He was over 30, but he was putting up numbers for about 2-3 years when he got to DC. So I just wanted to say.
He really
I'm going to co-sign that. I'm going to co-sign. As soon as you said yours, Lake, that's the name that popped right into my head. So I'm glad someone said it. I co-signed that, Henry Ellard.
Man, listen, these were some good things right here, man. Listen, every time I have something pop in my head now because of y'all, I could be here, now Mexico still and just think, damn, I got a hypothetical. I literally try to remember to put it in my phone for my notes. So I got like 6, 7 more already made for y'all. So, and some of them are good, but some of them I have to wait till we get closer to the season because it has like seasonal aspect questions to it. I'm going to have some mini camp stuff coming up, over the next week or so that we'll be able to talk about. But, we're here on vacation still, man. So, I'm going to get ready to wrap it up. But, man, I greatly appreciate you guys. Hi, how are you? That's little one, Ellison. All right. And, again, I want to thank my 2 guys who are here with us for joining us today. Chris and Jesse, you guys did really well, as I knew you would. So appreciate it. Hi, how are you? All right. See, good. So yeah, appreciate you guys joining us, and this will be up later tonight. You guys can check it out. I did want to let you guys know I do try to tag everyone, but there's a limit now to who I can tag and how I can tag. So if you see it, please retweet it, retag it, re-put it out, do something with it. But yeah, everyone loves the show and everyone's excited about it when they see you guys on there. So we're gonna keep this train rolling and keep it going. And as we get closer to the season, it's really gonna build up. But you guys know I appreciate you coming on, man. So
likewise.
Thank you. Right back at all y'all.
Appreciate you.
All right, you guys take care now. All right.
All right. You guys be
When you
safe.
get back here.
All right.
I have a
Thank you.
taco, man.
All right.
Happy birthday, Rev.
Yeah, happy
All right.
birthday.
Thank you.
Birthday, Rev.
Appreciate you guys. All you. Love you much.
All right.